Right now at 6, community members come together to celebrate the 10th annual Hot Rods and Hot Dogs Car Show.
And we've got some patchy fog out there this morning, otherwise not too bad to start. It's going to be a little bit on the warm side as well. Look at that forecast, get you out the doors coming up.
Plus, a car show in Fort Scott brings in over 100 cars to raise money for a good cause.
The four-state's most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Monday, September 30th. Happy Monday.
Yes.
See, we're trying to make your Monday a great day. I walked over here because, you know, I'm over there and then I come over here and she was standing there.
Just sometimes you gotta just,
stretch
out your wrist a little bit. And
what's up, guys? What's going on?
Welcome. Extra attitude for the news this morning.
I'm telling you, it's something. I've told people,
it's Monday.
We should do these shows sometimes like YouTubers do, just greet you all with, "What's up, guys? It's your boy, Chris. Welcome." But then that might freak people out. It freaks me out when people, it drives me nuts. I watch so many of those videos, and so many of them, they all start out with that. Yeah, smash the like button. Come on. Whatever. Anyway, let's, I don't even know, I have no transit. Usually my brain's functioning, it's not. Let's smash the forecast.
Oh.
And now poor Lori is smashing the kitchen set. See, look, we're all so excited. It's Monday. Lori's here. She's going to smash some cookies or something later, and we're going to smash the fog. This is derailed. I am so sorry. Aren't you all glad I'm back? I'm sure it was a nice, refreshing break when I wasn't here, and now I'm here to ruin your day. We've got a pretty good look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Same from 7th and Range Line in Joplin. Even our control room's lost it. I'm sorry. Look, come on. We have to. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's get this day going, right? All right, MoDOT camera 20th at Range Line looking good. Same from the KDOT camera 69 in East 520th Avenue. Got some fog off in the field. Not dealing with anything too crazy yet. We've had some reduced visibilities, but as you can see, even Yates Center and Iola have since improved out there. We have one dense fog advisory. That's Benton County in Arkansas through 9 o'clock this morning. Future track today, it is smashing those temperatures. So we go into the mid-80s out there. It is not going to be very fall-like at all. And maybe just a few clouds here and there. Quick look at temperatures for you. 59 in Joplin, 58 in Pittsburgh and around the area. A little cooler out west still. We got 53 now in Sedan as the cool spot. And we got some 60s, Monette, Bentonville. Otherwise, mid to upper 50s. Kids getting on the bus again. Some of us some fog to contend with. Upper 50s and a calm breeze. And we're looking at mostly clear skies this afternoon, about 84 when that bus brings them home. Northeast wind around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Highs today, right about 85 degrees for most of us and mostly clear skies. Now it's going to get breezy tomorrow. It's going to get a little cooler. And then it is going to be very unpleasant a little later this week with some temperatures. Details on that coming up in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, a serious motorcycle crash occurred Friday evening on South Range Line. The motorcycle operator was rushed priority to a local hospital. Joplin police told KOAM on scene the motorcycle and a passenger car collided in the 1300 block of South Range Line. It was heavy traffic at about 7:30 p.m. He was alert and communicating with first responders on the scene. The adult male was transported to an area hospital suffering a leg injury. There is no update on his condition. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, Heritage Healthcare in Chanute held its 10th annual Hot Rods and Hot Dogs Car Show yesterday. The show lets residents of its nursing home choose the top 5 cars and top motorcycles and get the trophies for the car show. Along with that, the show has door prizes, hot dogs, and music for attendees to enjoy.
I had a resident who would not attend any activities, and I told him, I was a brand new activity director 13 years ago, and I said, hey, if I start this car show, will you come? And he said, absolutely. So I started this car show 10 years ago, and he came ever since until he passed away.
The music yesterday was provided by Lynn Oliphant. Well, Care to Share, a local support group, held a car show fundraiser yesterday to gather donations for area cancer patients. KOAM's Mitch Adams has the story.
So it's however we can lend a hand, and we know we're just giving hope and hope for another day.
Care to Share, a nonprofit organization based out of Fort Scott, hosted a car show to raise funds for local individuals fighting cancer. The Rollin' Nostalgia Car Club sponsored the event and brought well over 100 cars for spectators to get a close look at. Since their founding in 2007, Care to Share has been completely volunteer ran, with no paid staff existing for the organization. They rely completely on community donations and folks to donate their free time to work fundraising events. Their mission? Provide people fighting cancer a feeling of assistance and hope.
Every little penny we get goes in someone's gas tank or pays to mow their yard, pays for a hotel room, pays for utility. We change tires, we fix cars, anything that you need, we try to provide that.
Just in 2022, Care to Share distributed a little over $97,000 to cancer fighters in need.
We put gas in someone's gas tank that otherwise could not afford to get to a doctor. Or we buy them a meal when they made it to the doctor but don't have any more money left. We'll pay for a hotel if they need to go to an out-of-town doctor. But that's around 10 transactions a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
The car show is just one of the many ways that Care to Share raises funds throughout the year. But the goal remains the same. If someone has an empty or near empty bucket, do what you can to help their bucket be refilled. In Fort Scott, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
The Care to Share encourages anybody battling or preparing to battle cancer to reach out to them to learn more about their resources. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Justice Department is suing Alabama over its effort to remove more than 3,000 names from its voter rolls. Plus, millions of Americans in the Southeast are still without power after Helene blew through the region. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Monday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, YouTube hits the pause button on music from some popular artists. Now, Variety reports select songs from artists like Adele, Green Day, and Bob Dylan are being blocked on the site as the company negotiates a new contract with the Society of European Stage Authors and Composers. Now, the videos with the song show a message that it is blocked because it contains material from the performing rights organization. Now, Variety reports YouTube says the two sides were unable to negotiate a new licensing deal before the previous one expires next week. The company says both sides are working to renew the deal as soon as possible. The U.S. Justice Department is suing Alabama after the state removed more than 3,000 names from the eligible list of voters for the upcoming federal election. Now, the voter purge violates a 90-day period before an election during which officials can't systemically remove people from the list of voters. Alabama's GOP Secretary of State says he removed the names because they were allegedly non-citizens, but he acknowledged some may have become naturalized citizens and may be eligible to vote. And more than 700 people removed from the list have since re-registered successfully. The Justice Department says all of the people should be returned to the list so they can vote unimpeded on Election Day. Well, this morning, millions of Americans in the Southeast are still without power after Helene blew through the region. The storm is being blamed for at least 116 deaths across half a dozen states, and that number is expected to rise. Soon, President Joe Biden will update the country on the federal government's response, with cleanup and recovery efforts now underway. Nicole Valdez is in Greensville, South Carolina, with more.
Historic flooding from Helene submerged parts of western North Carolina underwater over the weekend.
There was a whole house right there.
This Marshall, North Carolina woman says she fled after the waters reached waist deep.
I was grabbing stuff. I have my 3 dogs in the car, and my car was like almost underwater.
The state's governor says rescue efforts are ongoing and that food, water, and supplies are being airlifted to those stuck in the hardest hit areas.
Oh, God.
This video shows the moment a bridge in Tennessee collapsed into rushing floodwaters.
She was ready to sink.
On Tybee Island in Georgia, this man, who goes by Huck Finn, and his dog, Creedy, are hoping high tide carries them back out to sea after strong winds from Helene stranded their boat on the side of the highway.
I thought we were supposed to gonna die, so I had to cut anchor and it brought us here.
This morning in South Carolina, dozens are dead after Hurricane Helene pummeled the state. One couple dead after a tree fell on their car.
My cat is alive, my neighbors are alive, we are helping each other.
Massive recovery efforts are also underway in Florida.
We want to be helpful to get this debris.
While touring the devastation, the state's governor warned his state is not out of the woods just yet, with 2 more months left until hurricane season ends. Nicole Valdez, CBS News, South Carolina.
President Joe Biden has declared a state of emergency for those southern states hardest hit by the storm. There are hundreds of FEMA officials also on the ground in the southeast. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, taking a quick look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Not much out there to talk about. We do have some patchy fog to contend with. Got another look at your forecast when we come back.
Welcome back. Lori Horton from A Celebration by Lori joins us in the studio to teach us how to make some circus animal sugar cookies. Good morning.
Good morning. How are we this morning?
Oh, good. It's
Woo!
Monday.
It's Monday.
Always
We tell
something
ya.
here in the studio. You know
Always,
that, though.
always. We're used to that, right?
Yes.
We roll with it. This one is a really fun one that we're going to do today. So if you're a fan of the little frosted circus
So
animal
nostalgic,
cookies, they're
yes.
so fun. The classic pink and white, very colorful sprinkles. These are very similar, and it's going to be a really nice, soft, chewy cookie.
Oh, delicious.
Almost somewhere between the texture of a sugar cookie and a snickerdoodle. So they've got that little bit more cakey
Yes.
texture. You can make them really nice and thick and fat. So we're going to start with a pretty basic batter this morning.
Okay.
But we have our butter that is softened, just kind of room temperature. We're going to add to that some white sugar. One that's a little out of the ordinary in a cookie recipe, but a little bit of powdered sugar.
Oh.
And some brown sugar. So we want to make sure these are really nice and sweet.
So why powdered sugar for this recipe?
It goes back to that texture.
Okay.
And when we get to our dry ingredients, this has a little bit of cream of tartar in it as well, which is going to let them rise really
Yes.
thick, but stay chewy.
Yes, delicious.
So it's going to be a good one. We're going to cream this together just a little bit. Let me make a little noise. Make sure we get that butter really creamy. Just takes a second, but we want to incorporate all of the sugars. And then we're going to add to that a whole egg and just an egg yolk. So not 2 whole eggs, just the egg and the egg yolk. And then a little bit of vanilla and almond.
Ooh.
Again, just a really good
Yes,
combination.
delicious.
And when we get to the end, we're going to add a little white chocolate on top. That almond
Ooh,
is
that
going to
works
bring
so
that
great.
out. So good. Totally worth it. So we're going to cream that on in.
Okay.
Make sure it's really nice and fluffy looking. So give it just a little mix here. And then you can come back with your spatula. Make sure you don't have any little bits. You don't need to do a real high speed here. Just go easy.
Is overmixing something that you need to worry about with this?
A little bit. Don't go crazy. And you could certainly do this by hand. It's just a little easier to cream those ingredients with the mixer.
Yeah.
So what we end up with is just a nice, typical fluffy sort of beginning of our wet ingredients for any kind of a cookie dough. So make sure you clean those edges, get all of that incorporated. And then we're going to set that bowl aside for just a minute, and we're going to just lightly put together our dry ingredients. So this is just flour, nothing out of the ordinary, plain all-purpose flour. You don't need to go to cake flour or anything like that.
Perfect.
And then, as I said, a little cream of tartar and a little baking soda.
Just like that snickerdoodle you were mentioning, because you use that in there.
So we're going to whisk those dry ingredients together, make sure that's a little incorporated, and then slowly combine the two before we get ready to bake them. And then a little bit of tips on that when we come back.
All right, sounds good. Well, we don't want to miss it. Stick around. We're back with more right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:22 on this Monday morning. We're starting with the fog tracker, and we do have some fog, but again, visibilities have greatly improved. They're still slightly reduced, Iola, Grove, Miami, Anderson, again, but nothing significant at this point, and hopefully it remains that way. But we do have a dense fog advisory, and that is for Benton County in Arkansas through 9 o'clock this morning. We are expecting a little more fog out there, and that's what we've seen. It's some patchy fog, and we're looking at better chances for denser fog along and east of 69, but again, so far this morning, been pretty lucky. I haven't seen that much out there. On the future track, there's really not a lot to show on it either, unfortunately. We're looking at northeast winds about 5 to 10, just a few clouds here and there for us today. We'll have clear skies overnight. Boundary pushes through late tonight. No rain associated with it, unfortunately, but it will bring two things. One, slightly cooler temperatures for our Tuesday, and very gusty north winds pushing upwards of 25 miles an hour. So if you are traveling on any east-west highways tomorrow, you want to keep that in mind, because look at those wind arrows going. So it's going to be a bit of a breezy day, and it will be that way through the majority of our Tuesday. It won't be until late Tuesday evening into the overnight that those winds will start to ease up for us. As we head into our Wednesday, we'll have easterly winds initially, and they'll begin to gradually shift out of the south, and that will allow us to return to the above normal temperatures across the area with those partly cloudy skies. But again, unfortunately, no rain on the horizon. Quick look at temperatures. We are sitting at 59 in Joplin. Winds are calm, and from 7th and Rangeline, you can see everything looking pretty good out there so far. Cooler temperatures once again off to the west. We've got 53 in Sedan. Sedan has pretty much been the cool spot all morning. You got 60 in Neosho and Bentonville as some of the warmer locations. The rest of us, though, mid to upper 50s. So not a bad start to the day. Patchy fog could continue through about 8, maybe 9 at the latest, and we'll have mostly clear skies. Pretty decent temperatures by 11 as we go mid-70s. Unfortunately, again, another above normal days. Temperatures climb into the mid-80s across the area. Mostly clear skies, and again, a northeast breeze around 5 to 10. Later this evening, we will go clear. Temperatures will gradually fall back, eventually upper 50s and low 60s out there. And we'll have calm winds overnight, so we will watch for the possibility of maybe some additional patchy fog as we head into our Tuesday morning across the area. Otherwise, Tuesday, partly cloudy, not bad, upper 70s. And then it warms back up. I don't even know what Thursday is, but it's going to be about 90 degrees, sunny. That's October the 3rd. And 90 degrees. Mid to upper 80s as we head into the weekend. Sunny skies out there. A few clouds maybe on Monday, and low 80s next week. But still, no rain on the horizon, unfortunately. That's a check of your forecast. Now we're going to send it a release with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the number of preterm births increased more than 10% over a recent 10-year period, jumping from 6.8% in 2011 to 7.5% in 2022. Now, a study from New York University finds certain risk factors like diabetes, STIs, and mental health conditions are more common today and may be partially responsible. Data shows Black and Native American mothers are most at risk. Well, the American Academy of Pediatrics created its first clinical guidelines for opioid prescriptions. Now, it recommends pediatricians prescribe the painkiller when necessary and also prescribe the overdose reversing drug naloxone alongside it. Now, the guidelines also say doctors should offer physical therapy and other non-pharmaceutical options to reduce pain. And estrogens inhibit a type of white blood cell that helps keep tumors in check. A study from Duke University Medical Center suggests that suppressing the hormone could be a therapeutic approach to fight cancer. Researchers say estrogens also reduce the effectiveness of immunotherapies, and a study in mice found anti-estrogen drugs returned their potency. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, fall season is in full swing in Webb City as they celebrate this year's Harvest Festival.
And we've got to deal with some patchy fog here and there. Otherwise, a decent day, but a bit on the warm side. Look at that forecast, get you out the doors coming up.
Plus, KU professors make their way to Parsons, Kansas to discuss the history of the Bloody Benders family.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's now Monday, September the 30th. Happy Monday to you all. We've had a pretty good Monday here in the studio. We got Lily making cookies. We've got
delicious.
Well, actually, that's probably the best part of
Just making
Mondays.
Circus cookies because it kind of is like a circus in here this morning.
Well, I was on vacation, then I came back. And
Yes,
so that's
so
just kind of
here we
what
are.
happens. It's, morning
Happy to have you
vibes.
back, Chris.
I think everybody was in the first 10 minutes of the show and then realized, oh, wait, that's right. It's that guy. I remember now. Well, let's get to that forecast, shall we? We'll talk about what we've got going on, starting with a live look from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. So we've got what looks like pretty decent conditions. We've had some light patchy fog here and there, but we haven't had anything too crazy to contend with. Same from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. We're looking fairly good down there as well. So we'll head over to the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. Again, this is not actually fog. This is just all these bright lights from the businesses kind of reflecting on the glass dome around that camera there at 20th and Range Line. And the KDOT camera, 69 East 520th Avenue, looking fairly good as well. And if you look off here into the field, you see a little bit of light fog, and that's really what I kind of encountered on the drive-in. And the fog tracker not showing anything too crazy. The most significantly reduced visibilities appear to be in Iola, and it's just a pinch under 9 miles, so it's not overly bad at this point. We do have a dense fog advisory, though, for Benton County, and that will be until 9 o'clock this morning. And we could still see some patchy fog, and if we see some of the denser fog may be along and east of the 69 corridor. But again, it's not been that bad this morning, and hopefully it stays that way. Future track for today is going to show nothing other than just a few passing clouds here or there. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies, temperatures above normal, and then it's always so interesting to me. This morning, the cooler temperatures are further west, but later today, that's where the warmer temperatures will be as we head into the afternoon. City at 59 in Joplin, 57 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, as mentioned, cooler temperatures. Sedan's been the cool spot all morning, say at 53, and you're going to be relatively close to one of the warmer locations later this afternoon. The rest of us, though, mid-upper 50s, still got a couple of 60-degree readings in Neosho and Bentonville. Kids getting on the bus this morning still have that possibility, at least for some of us, to be contending with some fog out there. Upper 50s and winds will be otherwise calm. And when the bus brings them home, just a few clouds here and there, about 84 northeast wind, around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Highs today right about 85 degrees and mostly clear skies. Now, I have a boundary coming through overnight tonight into very early tomorrow morning. It's going to increase our winds, slightly decrease our temperatures, and it will be a brief decrease. We have some unpleasant temperatures this week. Details on that in the full forecast in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, a program about the Bloody Benders excavation effort was held Saturday night at Parsons Municipal Auditorium. Now, the program started with an old-time music performance and led to a question and answer panel. Now, panel guests were made up of KU professors and archaeologists involved in the excavation. Now, the point of the program was to educate attendees about the Bender family history, as well as provide them with entertainment.
I've found over the years that people love stories, and when the stories involve murder and sex and mystery, it flies off the charts. And the Bender story has all of those elements in it.
Now, the program was free to any community member who was interested in learning more about the history of America's first documented killer family. Well, the Webb City Farmers Market has celebrated fall with a harvest festival Saturday. Along with some of the market's standard offerings, the festival included music, mini pumpkin painting, face painting, and even mini goats. Now, 35 vendors offered things like fresh produce, potteries, plants, and other fun items.
You know, it takes out the middleman. So you're buying directly from the farmer. I think that makes food more nutritious when it's just recently picked. So, and it supports your local community.
Now, knife and scissor sharpening was offered at the festival as well. The 6th annual Autumn Festival of the Ozarks in Neosho raised funds for the Neosho Christian School. The event included a motor show, which is basically if you have something with a motor in it, then you can bring it. And they also had a silent and live auction with prizes like paintings and guitars. Now, hay mazes, bounce houses, and a dunk tank were just some of the attractions.
I think I like the fellowship. We get a chance to visit with all the other parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and spend the day together, playing with the kids, doing all the activities. We just love being together.
Last year's Autumn Festival raised $30,000 for the Neosho Christian School. Well, the 27th annual Carl Junction Bluegrass Festival kicked off Saturday. Attendees could listen to music from 9 bands, including Route 3, Spillwater Drive, Red Bridge, and more. Now, the festival also hosted over 100 vendors with a variety of products and food trucks for people to enjoy. And for the kids, there was a kid zone complete with a petting zoo, bounce houses, and even a car smash.
So, bluegrass music is, I like to feel all the genres pull from bluegrass. It's probably one of the most complicated genres to play. So it's kind of how it started because we wanted quality music and everything. So.
And here's a fun fact about bluegrass. It actually originates from Appalachia. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The Oakland A's are moving to West Sacramento, California, and businesses are looking forward to cashing in. And we have a nice and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, well, it was the end of an era Thursday as the Oakland Athletics played their final game at the Oakland Coliseum. The team will eventually move to Las Vegas, but first, the A's will be calling West Sacramento home for the next 3 years. Ashley Sharp takes a look at the impact their temporary move will have on businesses in the city.
In West Sacramento's Bridge District, that's the sound of businesses betting on big league ball, bringing in big bucks.
That's what we're hoping for, yeah, for sure.
The Midway even wants to rebrand to cash in.
We want to be like an A's like kind of themed bar, A's inspired drinks, A's inspired like food.
Down the road at Sal's Tacos, you'll see more spaces next season to watch the A's, like on new patio TVs.
If our sales on a Tuesday could triple, quadruple, well, wow, welcome, right?
Then picture here at 5th and C, a brand new spot.
This will become La Ciudad. It's an old building that the city of West Sacramento traded us for.
The city of West Sacramento tells CBS 13 it will soon launch a small business accelerator program to help them dream big as they roll out the red carpet for their new neighbors at Sutter Health Park.
And especially because it is walking distance as well from here. And I feel like, a lot of people downtown does get crowded and traffic there is really bad. So we're hoping, people will kind of guide themselves this way.
Across the river, the greater Sacramento region, especially downtown, is projected to see tens of millions of dollars in economic impact in the A's first season.
Another great thing is that the Major League Baseball season complements the NBA season. So now we've got year-round Major League sports here in the market.
From the Sacramento Kings, now to the A's. They're 2 teams putting Sacramento on the map.
It really is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to capitalize for businesses, and who knows, 3 years could turn into something longer. Stranger things have happened.
We could be just hours away from a possible longshoreman strike that could shut down dozens of ports from the Northeast to Texas. The White House is urging port operators and workers to work out their differences. The union is asking for higher wages and a complete ban on the automation of cranes, gates, and container movements used in the loading or unloading of cargo. Experts say a work stoppage could lead to supply chain disruptions and raise prices for consumers. Animated science fiction film The Wild Robot won the weekend box office, bringing in $35 million domestically. Beetlejuice was second with $16 million, while Transformers 1 was third with just over $9 million. Francis Ford Coppola's self-financed Megalopolis flopped in its debut, raking in just $4 million, far short of the film's $120 million budget. And Prince fans now have a chance to stay in the Minneapolis house featured in his cult classic film Purple Rain 40 years after its release. Now, starting Wednesday, potential guests can request a one-night stay through Airbnb for up to 4 people at $7 per person, a nod to Prince's favorite number. Now, lucky guests can go crazy in a closet filled with the music legend's iconic outfits, a spa, and a lounge with musical instruments. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got, again, some patchy fog out there. We've started to see it thicken up down in northeastern Oklahoma. We'll take a look at that. First, quick look outside. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh looking pretty good as the sun begins to rise out there. And, of course, our camera at 7th and Rangeline decides now is the time to stop working. So we'll skip it to the MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin looking back to the south. Again, we're looking fairly good this morning as well. And also from the KDOT camera at 69 East 520th Avenue south of Pittsburgh out there. So let's take a look at that fog tracker, though. So, again, now northeastern Oklahoma. The latest updates, we're down to 1.5 mile visibility in Grove and just over 3 miles of visibility in Miami, all around the Grand Lake area, points north. So we're talking 69, 60, and I-44 if you're traveling this morning. Slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going, and just be aware of that fog. We still only have the one dense fog advisory. That's Benton County through 9 o'clock this morning. And future track heading into this afternoon, other than warm temperatures and maybe a stray cloud or two, that's really about it. And it's interesting, you know, it's cooler out west this morning, but you're going to be warmer out west by this afternoon. So some upper 80s. You can see Bartlesville maybe even around 91 degrees. And as we head into the evening hours, again, just a few stray clouds, otherwise dry conditions. 59 in Joplin right now, 56 in Pittsburgh. This is what we're talking about, the cooler temperatures out west. Sedan's been the cool spot all morning. Now I've come down to 52, but Sedan, you may be one of the warmer locations in our area as we head into the afternoon. Everybody else, though, mid-upper 50s, and again, a couple of 60s. We got Neosho and Bentonville there. Kids getting on the bus. Again, some patchy fog to contend with. Upper 50s. We'll have a calm wind out there, and when that bus brings them back home this afternoon, we're looking at about 84 degrees, mostly clear skies, northeast winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We're going to have another check of your forecast and talk about some unpleasant temperatures on the way later this week here in just a moment. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, but first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, it's Beg Knows America. David grants a wish to a woman who wanted to reunite with a nurse and thank her for saving her life. And the great Gloria Estefan will join us to talk about her new music and an event that's near and dear to her heart. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Monday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to start in Girard with Trip Fox celebrating birthday number 10. Happy birthday, Trip.
And a happy 27th birthday to Cortland Shaw over in Webb City.
And in Jasper, we've got Candace Harris celebrating birthday number 44. Happy birthday, Candace.
And over in Parsons, happy 65th birthday to Alan Baker. It says here with love from your family.
And in Chanute, we've got Patty Schultz celebrating birthday number 70. Happy birthday, Patty.
And a happy 10th anniversary to Derek and Kayla Thomas in Parsons. It says here, happy anniversary, lots of love from your wife.
All right, and we've got another anniversary, this one in Jasper. Jacob and Amber Jennings celebrating their 13th year of wedded bliss. A very happy anniversary to the Jennings.
And over in Heffler, a happy 40th anniversary to Jeff and Carla Tershiner.
And in Chanute, Glennis Wilson celebrating another year wiser. Very happy birthday to you, Glennis.
And continuing our list with a happy birthday to Davis Omi, turning 42 over in McCune.
And in Parsons, Brandon Stout celebrating birthday number 55.
And a happy birthday to Terry and Karen Johnson and Niola celebrating birthday number 44. Anniversary number 44. It's Monday. I'm sorry. Happy anniversary.
I guess I've had too much of the coffee and you have not had enough of the
any.
coffee, something like that.
I know.
Well, a very happy anniversary to the Johnsons. And we've got Glenda Leroy celebrating a birthday in Chanute. All right, a very happy birthday and anniversary and birthday-versary.
Yes.
And if you want to celebrate any of those things with us, Elise has some information, maybe.
Go ahead and submit those birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos and messages and to, of course, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen.
Absolutely. You know, every Aaron Sorkin show has an episode entitled, "What Kind of Day Has It Been?" I feel like that's our episode today. And that's what we're experiencing. But it's been a good Monday. Hopefully we've helped you get your Monday off to a good start out there. And we've got pretty nice skies. Take a look from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. The sun is rising, just a few clouds here and there. And off in the horizon, you can see some light fog, but some areas experiencing some dense fog. Take a look at these colors and a few clouds from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Man, that looks absolutely beautiful this morning. And we'll head down south to the MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, looking back to the north. It's looking back to the south. I'm used to it looking to the north. It's looking pretty good as well this morning. And the KDOT camera at 69 in Kansas Crossing, looking fantastic as well. We've got one more camera we're going to check in for you, and that's the KDOT camera just north of that at East 520th Avenue. Also looking pretty good this morning as these folks get their day underway. But again, we do have some patchy fog out there. We've had some dense fog build up around the Grand Lake area, so Miami Grove, reduced visibilities. That's I-44, 60, 69. Just slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going out there, and just, again, low beams, not your high beams. And remember, it's better to arrive a few minutes late than not at all. The only dense fog advisory, though, is for Benton County, where this morning Bentonville had about zero visibility about 4:30 this morning. It's improved since then, and that runs until 9 o'clock this morning. Now, we head on to the future track. The future track is not broken. It will move. It's just it doesn't really have a lot to show. We'll have a few clouds for us today. Temperatures warm and not so seasonably cool. We'll be a little above average out there. Now we have a boundary coming through. Watch those wind arrows shift as it pushes through towards sunrise tomorrow. And take a look at how fast those wind arrows are moving. We're going to have gusty north winds as we head into our Tuesday. So if you're traveling on any east-west highways, just keep that in mind that these north winds are going to be pushing upwards of 25 miles an hour out there. So just be aware. It'll also cool us down a bit. This little boundary, unfortunately, is not going to bring us any rainfall, but it will at least bring us somewhat more seasonable temperatures. We'll hang out in the upper 70s for most of us on our Tuesday. However, it's short-lived. Winds will calm down overnight Tuesday and the Wednesday. They'll begin to gradually shift out of the south on our Wednesday, and that will eventually allow us to warm right back up above normal as we head back into the 80s out there, maybe even some upper 80s as well. Quick look at temperatures. We are sitting at 59 in Joplin. Calm breeze right now. And again, in Joplin at least, the visibility is good. And as we look at temperatures around the area, the further west you are, it is cooler. Sedan, you've been the cool spot all morning. You're down to 52. But in a weird twist of events, Sedan, you will be one of the warmer spots as we head into the afternoon. The farther west we go, we're looking at maybe some upper 80s out there. The rest of us will eventually warm into the mid 80s. Temperatures for the rest of us this morning as well, mid upper 50s, and still have a couple of 60s, Bentonville and Neosho. As we get this morning underway, again, patchy fog continuing through about 9 o'clock this morning. It burns off. We'll have just a few clouds here and there. And not bad, at least through the morning. We'll be sitting in the mid-70s by 11 o'clock ahead of a warm day, and it's going to get warmer yet. Details on that here in just a moment, as well as the news you need to know. And when we make the transition to Fox 14, which, by the way, that happens at 7 o'clock in the morning, we're going to hear about a Virginia boy that's being praised for his quick thinking after entering a house fire and rescuing 13 people trapped inside.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A serious motorcycle crash happened Friday evening on South Range Line. The motorcycle operator was rushed priority to a local hospital with a leg injury. He was alerted and communicating with first responders on the scene. There is no update on his condition. Well, a program about the Bloody Benders excavation effort was held Saturday night at Parsons Municipal Auditorium. The point of the program was to educate attendees about the Bender family history. Now, the program was free to any community member who was interested in learning more about the history of America's first documented serial killer family. And Heritage Healthcare in Chanute held its 10th annual Hot Rods and Hot Dogs car show yesterday. Now, the show lets residents of its nursing home choose the top 5 cars and top motorcycle to get trophies for the car show. Along with that, the show had door prizes, hot dogs, and music for attendees to enjoy. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, watch out for some patchy fog out there. Otherwise, this afternoon, mostly clear skies, northeast breeze 5 to 10, mid-80s for our highs. Heading into the evening, we'll eventually have clear skies and gradually fall back into the upper 50s and low 60s. Tomorrow, got that boundary, gusty north winds pushing 25, a little cooler, upper 70s. Back to the mid-80s Wednesday. I'm really disappointed in Thursday. 3rd day of October, it's going to be 90 degrees. Not sure that Mother Nature's aware of where we are right now on the calendar, but it's going to be like that. Mid-80s into the weekend, low 80s to start the next work week. And I think the worst part of this whole forecast is no rain on the horizon, and we are in need of some.
All right, thanks. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making hayride pumpkin squares in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
He always has the most fascinating names for his meals.
It's so fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. More than 2 billion people worldwide are not connected to the internet. Only on CBS Mornings, the head of Verizon talks exclusively about how the company is expanding access globally and in the U.S.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, car lovers gathered together in Fort Scott for a good cause over the weekend.
And Lori Horton joining us back in the studio to finish making her magnificent, absolutely fabulous, high-top circus animal coated in sugar cookies. Hey, if Mr. Food can do it, we can do it too.
There you go.
That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5.
And we'll see you today at noon.